Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 5. So quickly, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year. Thank you for 2018. I didn't get a chance to say thank you to you guys before 2018 was over. Just didn't fit a video in time and didn't mention it beforehand. So hopefully everyone had a half decent 2018. Hopefully had a good celebration heading into the new year. And let's all have at least solid 2019. Let's just be positive going into it. So The Flash is back in exactly 2 weeks from now. So time flies. So yeah, it's back in 2 weeks from now when this video will be going up. So start your countdowns, I guess. But as we know from the trailer or, promo for episode 10 of The Flash or the mid-season premiere, we know that we will be getting more interactions between Nora and the Earbud Thawne locked up in Iron Heights in the future. Which is a relief, as sometimes with these shows is that they will tease something in like a cliffhanger or just like a random moment, and then we have to wait like an age to return to anything revolving around that. So going back to the future in episode 10 straight after, episode 8 and what happened there will be great to see. But something that many people want to get some sort of closure on in regards to events in the future is that of other members of the Flash family, or specifically children of Barry Allen. So one of the Hansel's So Hot right now, theories towards the end of last season and essentially all of this season has been revolved around Nora having a sibling, whether that be a brother or a sister. Last season it was more centered around a twin sister, while this season it has been just a sibling in general, like no gender assumption with this. Obviously in the comics, the children of Barry and Iris are that of Dawn and Don Allen, otherwise labelled as the Tornado Twins. And before anyone goes, Pagey, Nora Allen is a person in the comics, the daughter of Jessica Cruz and Barry in DC Rebirth. Yeah, that is true, but anyone who actually read the Justice League comics around that know that that was brought in after Nora would have already been written onto the show, and before even I think that was after Mystery Girl had appeared, so nothing to do with each other there. It's just a coincidence. Now, The Flash is a bit hit or miss sometimes when it comes to accuracy from the comics in regards to how a certain character is portrayed, Savitar, and but for the most part, like a vast majority, they are pretty solid with their accuracy to the source material. Definitely one of the more accurate shows on TV sourced from comics. So due to this, it would be surprising to see the Tornado Twins not show up at some point, whether they be with the powers or just as a set of twins. But I guess the big question revolves around when. Now, I have more alluded to this thought of mine in live streams rather than videos. However, I have brought it up briefly in the past. And that is that I think in this current future we have, Nora is Barry's only daughter. In the original timeline, I wouldn't be shocked to find out that he had a daughter and a son called Dawn and Don. Obviously, we had Earbud Thawne in the 100th episode called Nora Dawn when he first saw her, because he was stuck in the past after he had killed Barry's mother. And Barry's mother, Nora, being killed led to Barry's daughter in the future being called Nora as a tribute of sorts, or in honor, whatever you want to call it. Now, I know some people think Thawne could be referring to Nora having a sister by calling her Dawn, but in my opinion, I think Thawne was just referring to Barry having at least one Nora left in his life, that being his daughter rather than his mother. But the way in which I see the Tornado Twins of Dawn and Don Allen being brought into canon for the show in the future is with a change in the future for Barry and Iris. I believe Nora won't exist come the end of the season. I think she may sacrifice herself in order to save her father. They have heavily suggested that earlier this season. Nora is expendable on the show, Barry isn't, because if Barry dies, both of them cease to exist, but if Nora dies, then it doesn't really matter. So if it comes down to some form of sacrificial moment, Nora will be the one that has to sort of default dance and take the death. And this could lead to just a natural change in what happens after that, which leads to Dawn and Don coming about, rather than having the singular child of Nora. And what they could do with this is still have Jessica Parker Kennedy, who plays Nora, end up playing Dawn in this new future. So she is still the daughter of Barry and Iris, regardless of the change. Obviously, I know that people will disagree with this. If you do, let me know why in the comments. Don't just say you disagree. Let me know why you disagree. But for me, it sounds good. But on to the next topic of the video. Many people have been asking about, what exactly is going on with Reverse Flash this season. How much of him will we be getting this season, and whether they will be changing some stuff up with his timeline of events. Not our timeline events, just his events from his point of view. And the answer to that, or the best one I can give at the moment, is that the version that is interacting with Nora in the future won't really do much, or do too much at least, in regards to changing his fate. However, if we get some backstory as to how Nora and him met, how he ended up where he is now, then we could get some changes to what is known about the character currently. And it won't be because of him, it's just because the writers just decided to change up something with him. But if that does happen, then you would have to think it would be minor at best, nothing major that would, completely make some other events in the shows come off as redundant. It just doesn't seem like that would be, worth doing personally. In regards to how much time we will get with him this season, I think Sherlock will be the version of Wells that we hang out with the most this season when we get back into the back half of the season in 2 weeks time. But you would have to think that this Wells, this Wells looking Reverse Flash will still play a key role in what happens with the story outside of the partnership with Nora. I know there is the constant debate between fans over whether he will be this season's big bad, and I guess that comes down to how long he will get in that position. And I think if we get to say 6 episodes or so until the finale, and he still isn't fully established as the villain for the season, then it will come off as a bit disappointing, giving him such a small period of time to do whatever he needs to do. I would personally prefer if he plays a villainous role, but he isn't the main villain. Keep Cicada the main villain, and he would be assisted by Reverse Flash, and then save, this Reverse Flash, the version we have in Iron Heights in the future, save him for season 6. And do a full-on arc where he can just, be mad as hell. He doesn't have to worry about keeping the timeline in order to secure his existence in the future. Just go crazy with him. He can use all of his future knowledge for some next-level maniacal antics. It would be amazing when you really think about it. Just think the craziest thing Reverse Flash could do, and he doesn't have to be just sort of not self-conscious, but just conscious of what's going on around him and that he has to keep certain things in line. At this point, it doesn't matter. This is a Reverse Flash that can really do whatever he wants because he already is an anomaly of sorts. He shouldn't really exist. And I know some people are already thinking to themselves, and maybe even already typing in the comments, oh, I don't want Cicada to be the main villain. Sure, I understand some people don't like Cicada. I personally think there's a lot of untapped potential there that they could be doing with him about how he is affected by the whole metahuman crisis and stuff that actually comes sort of from Barry and his antics, and that there is sort of collateral damage, not specifically straight off into Cicada's story, but when Barry does something, he isn't just saving all these people. Sometimes there is collateral damage, punching the satellite. Sure, it had to be done, but it did affect other people outside the area than that small contained area that it sort of would have been in if the satellite had come down. So there's sort of pros and cons to everything that Barry does, and it would be cool if there was a storyline this season that sort of focused on that. Which we could still get. There's still, 13 episodes to go this season. Episode 10 to episode 22. We still have a lot of this season to go, more than half. So they can still tap into that sort of storyline, and which can make Cicada a more appealing villain to some people. But that's for us to wait and find out, I guess. I think that's maybe why a lot of people just want Reverse Flash to come in, regardless of the time he has, because maybe Cicada is just a bit underwhelming to people. For me, I think he's still decent, but I can understand why people might be a bit disappointed by him. And obviously, it's time for question time, as we've been doing in the during this break. I'll add a couple of questions towards the end of the video. So if you have any questions that have not been answered, leave them in the comment section down below, and they could appear in my next Flash video. The first question comes from Amanda Vernon, who asked, why do I have this itching feeling that the reason Nora has trusted the Reverse Flash is because he is her love interest, with the monkey covering eyes emoji and a skull. And there actually has been a couple of people that have been wondering this. I would be shocked if they do this. Now, yes, I know Nora is in her late 20s in the show. However, I think we'd all be under the impression, or at least the assumption, that Reverse Flash would have interacted with Nora when she was younger. And I always find it weird when there's relationships when someone's been and especially when they're older, when they've sort of been courting a person when they've been underage. So hopefully they don't tap into this. The Flash doesn't need to be revolved in some controversy around some statutory R words, so I'd rather than not get into anything like that. So let's just try and avoid that. The next question comes from Tragic Mace. I sort of got confused because it's in all these different letters, but Tragic Mace. Wait, since the dagger only affects dark matter, then can literally everyone in the Arrowverse take him down that's not in the Flash, like Supergirl? Theoretically, off this Cicada, yes. However, a lot of people do say, well, why can Killer Frost take down Cicada when they say that in the future Supergirl couldn't even do anything against him, or Green Arrow and stuff? And we'll take Green Arrow out of the equation, but Supergirl and stuff like that. And obviously that Cicada in the future might be different. His dagger might have worked differently. It could have just taken powers in general, while this one is more connected to the whole dark matter situation because it came from the satellite. Who knows what the dagger in the future was sourced from and what its power was sourced from and all of that. It's different due to that. So they haven't fully explained it, but we just have to base it off what we know and what we don't know. So we don't know what that future dagger was sourced from and everything like that. But in the current day, we know that it's filled with dark matter, so it's attracted to dark matter and all of that. So that's why, Killer Frost can affect it. But in the future, we don't know how necessarily that dagger worked. And then the last question comes from Sports and Things Shows, and they go, great video, Pagey, thank you. Do you think the writers will come back to the whole issue with Nora and Spin? We do know there is an issue called Spin Out. It was meant to be episode 10, but then they released the trailer for episode 10. They call it The Flash and the Furious, which was meant to be the episode 11 title, so it's sort of confusing. I think Kiara Madeira, whoever, I can't remember the actress's name, who played Spin, was filming for The Flash again recently, and they sort of alluded to her coming back. So she could come back, but Spin Out can be a completely different thing. It wasn't spelled S-P-Y-N, like a character on the show was spelled. It was just spelled like Spin, like the normal Spin, S-P-I-N. So who knows if the titles have anything to do with each other, but they sort of started that thing, so that maybe they might come back to that whole relationship that they might have been brewing there. Have to wait and see. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and show your support. As I said, Happy New Year to everyone else. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over in this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.